And we are live, and it is 30 with Karen and Justin. And as some of you may notice, it is Wednesday. And normally we do a Thursday 30 with Karen and Justin at 1 p.m. Today we're doing Wednesday at 3 p.m., which is an interesting change, but it's for a good purpose. Today we have a special Q&A. We're highlighting an upcoming event that's next week. It's a little different from your typical fundraiser. I'm joined by James Neal from the Levie Initiative. James has been a part of this grassroots effort that turns simple ideas into real community impact, starting with a COVID bottle and food drive that grew into an $8,000 fundraiser and over 2,000 pounds of food. That is nuts. We'll have to talk about that. He now serves as director of the Levie Initiative, and an organization created in honor of his son, focused on supporting families in crisis and strengthening the connection between community, business, and local charities. We'll talk a little bit about the story behind Levie and the upcoming Swing into Spring event presented by EPCM at Faraway Greens, what it is, why it matters, and how a night of indoor golf is really about something a lot bigger. I love that intro, actually, if I don't say so myself.
Nice one.
How's it going?
Not bad. How about you?
Good. So for people hearing about the Levie Initiative for the first time, how would you explain what it is in simple terms?
Well, basically, Levie is a combination of my son, Liam, and Michael Desjardins' daughter, Evie. They are best of friends, and we're all scared that one day they're going to get married, but they go by the moniker of Levie when they get together. It's like, oh, what's Levie doing today? So that was kind of where the name came from, but it also turns out that means united and intertwined and so that's kind of like, it goes along with the whole, family roots, community efforts, intertwining those things with business and families to get to the greater good.
That's amazing. So it started from a bottle and a bottle and food drive. How did it turn into something bigger? Was there a decision there? Was it just kind of natural? What happened there?
Well, it all started at the beginning. So there was some mental health situation with my other son, Emmett, and we decided collectively to initiate a bottle drive to raise funds. That was, I believe, 4 weekends straight. We ended up going way over on what we kind of anticipated we were going to get. Granted, it was COVID, so a lot of people had a lot of saved up empties. Good timing for everybody.
Yes, they did.
And it turned out really well. So then, following that, we got into another one that was done in a single weekend. We did that at the church, and we raised the same amount of money again, doubled the food that time. And then things just kind of progressed from there as, Julie and Michael got into some other organizations to raise funds within the community, and then event after event. Enter Levie in 2026. And, here we are going again. We've done a couple of events so far. And the next one is in spring. It's EPCM is a longtime client of mine, and they graciously offered to kind of be the hosting platinum sponsor to provide some funds as well as prizes and everything else to get this going. I've been dealing with them for over 30 years. Just giving away how old I am, but needless to say,
we're all getting old.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, it kind of started with the bottle drive and grew and grew and grew. And then through time, we're kind of here now doing what we can to not only raise awareness, but also kind of raise funds for kind of the grassroots charities that need it, that maybe you haven't heard of.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows the big ones, right? And then there's all the smaller ones in between that need as much support as anybody else. And, I guess that's where you fit into the gaps.
Yeah. So mental health specifically, sorry to talk over you there.
Go ahead.
Specifically has always been an issue that we feel very strongly about supporting, specifically with youth mental health. Now it's grown into men's mental health as well. And of course that, enter Capillary Wave. But, of course, with the recent changes in our medical stuff at home, we've now also extended that into the oncology sector, because that's a new thing that we unfortunately are dealing with as a family. So it's one of those things that, you think what you're going to raise money for, and then next thing you know, things change. And here we are with a gamut of things that we just feel is important. There's a lot out there that needs help, and we're just trying to do what we can do.
I think life comes at you, right? And you just got to kind of work with it to make it what it is. It's funny because I recorded a video last night I was trying to figure out how to leverage a video or a content piece around the idea of my daughter showing me pictures of her bruised up feet after a dance competition. And I was kind of like, what the heck am I going to do about these? Like, how do I, don't- I do too many videos saying how proud I am of my kids and all this stuff. I mean, it's kind of like I am, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But how do I turn this into something meaningful? And quite frankly, the meaningful thing is, life is going to be hard and there's going to be some tough crap that gets thrown at you. Unfortunately, that's just the way life is. But the real message behind this thing was she got up the next day after the competition, put her gear on, went back to class and did her thing. And it wasn't because she had to, it was because she wanted to and she loves dance. And the reality here is there's going to be some stuff that sucks, but you kind of have to do it in order to get to the stuff that's good as well. Right. And
Absolutely.
so if you're going to have to do crappy things, why not do it with a smile on your face? And do it with support of others, because all these things, dance, all these things require a team of people around you, right? And so it's kind of interesting, all these parallels with life. So the Swing into Spring event, which we will be there, pretty
Okay.
exciting. KP and Associates is helping sponsor the event as well.
Amazing.
So that's coming up next week. What's the goal behind that night?
So the goal, I mean, does anybody really have a max goal? Probably not. The goal is
No.
to raise as much money as we can for the Capillary Wave. We've already raised some funds with some previous events. We've got that set aside. This is just another one in the group. So yeah, I mean, our goal is to come out and have some fun with the community. Golf is obviously a social event, so that's pretty easy to get people to want to come out and support. You get dinner, you get a sleeve of Pro V1s, you get you get dessert, which is provided by Creme de la Creme, actually. Dinner was provided by Charminar, which is a lot of people don't know that the same guy that owns Squires also owns Charminar. It's an Indian restaurant, fantastic food. The golf balls were donated by EPCM, as I mentioned. There's a drink ticket that comes with it as well. That's donated by Pets and Groom. I don't know if you know those guys, but you
Yes.
probably do.
Yes.
And then of course we've got Far Samji coming in to do some coaching for everybody.
Mhm.
She's a 5-time long drive champion, excuse me. And she's fantastic, easy to deal with. I personally, it's funny, on the simulator, the last time I was at Faraway Greens, she was there doing another event, and she actually added 20 yards to my drive on the simulator that night. And now, whether I could take that to the golf course and actually keep doing the same thing, if she's not there to tell me what I'm doing wrong, maybe I'm not going to remember with a little practice. But I couldn't believe it. I actually, just do this one thing, boom, move your hips a certain way, and suddenly 20 yards extra. So it was pretty awesome to get that little tip. I hope to put that on the course this summer.
Mhm.
We've also got Tommy Guns is coming out. They always have been there to support us. They're putting up a table to demonstrate some of their stuff about personal grooming and stuff like that. Impact Wellness is coming. Of course, you guys are going to be there. We've got the what's their name? Sorry, I forgot their name. We have Chuck and Oak. I'm like Oakley. It's Ryan Oakley. He's a fantastic guy. Anyways, Chuck and Oaks, they're coming out. They're also there. They share the space actually with Faraway Greens, so
Cool.
they're another sponsor that's going to be there to help with any of your kind of
Yes.
fitting and needs like that.
Yes. They do golf clubs, if I'm not mistaken.
They sure do. Yeah,
They do.
absolutely.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, we've also been sponsored by Joe Apps. He's always been there to help us with any of our events. He's always a fantastic guy. Anytime you reach out, it's just like, oh yeah, what can I do? And of course, the Artery, which is a mental health organization where they do psychotherapy and stuff like that. And they're again, all these people that we deal with, they're always there. Anytime you ask, it's always just not, oh, another one. It's how can we help? What can we do? How can we make this bigger? How can we make this better? So it's been pretty awesome. A lot of community support.
One of the beneficiaries being Capillary Wave Community for Men. As a reminder to everyone, this is an initiative focused on men's mental health and creating space for connection and early support, which is huge. I don't know how many people out there have known about me and my mental health journey, and I haven't really talked about it too much. We've had some discussions, and we've spoken to Nelson and various people on from the organization and on this podcast actually. And what an incredible opportunity and organization for folks out there. I think
Yeah,
one of the biggest things from a men's health perspective is a lot of times, and mental health in general, is one of those things that we tend to think that we have to bury our head. We tend to think that we're alone, but we're not, right?
it's
We
always how
have,
can I fix it for everybody else, right? And you just kind of
right.
suck it up yourself almost.
Yes, especially being family, like a mother and a father in a family, having to be the leader of the family and take care of everyone else. It's like who polices the police? Who takes care of the parents?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So like there's so much of that's so important. And I think as a society, we're really just scratching the iceberg or scratching the surface of how we can help people with this and getting people to, oh, we might have a special guest here actually. I don't know if this is meant to be. I didn't invite. I don't know what's happening. This is actually honestly, I didn't do this on purpose. So I don't Nelson, you're here.
Hey guys, how
We were
are you?
just talking about you. This is so funny.
I know I was commenting on his 20 plus yards on his drive, and I was saying that makes a total of 50 yards now.
Yeah, I can
That
almost make it to the ladies now.
Nice. Well done.
I was just commenting how, we've said this before. I mean, you've been on before, Nelson. We're going to jump right in here. The health, mental health, especially in well, mental health in general is one of those things that we're just scratching the surface of support at the moment. Like we're still on the upswing of learning about this disease, this problem that people have, because they're all so individual and so different. We've come from a society that creates a lot of shame around mental health, and we tend to, especially as men, we tend to sort of bury our heads in the sand a little bit and try to have to worry about everybody else. And I sort of use the idea of who polices the police, like who takes care of the parents that are running the family, right? So it's a really cool thought. Why don't we talk a little bit? Just give me a little 5 minutes or 2 minutes on the Capillary Wave and where this money is going to when we come to this event.
Yeah, so first off, we're so very grateful for Levy's support. Like they've been with us since they started with their first event. With as far as Capillary goes, we just like we're bursting at the seams. To kind of backtrack a little bit, especially for men. Just recently, I had to put together some statistics in order to sell our story really to those to those in positions that can help. And when you take a look at the mental health funding pie, let's say, um, specifically for men, it's less than 1% of the pie that goes towards men's mental health. So maybe in the past, there was really no place for men to go that didn't feel like an institution or didn't feel clinical. Our space is non-clinical. Our space is, the guys that are struggling a little bit or a lot, going through, maybe it could be job loss, divorce, family law is a huge thing that brings a lot of guys to the table. But then isolation is a new big thing that is finally starting to kind of come out when we're talking about these things that are growing out of the lawn, so to speak. So we constantly look at ways to get to all of those situations specifically. By providing the support groups that we do, yeah, that takes care of the guys who need a place to come that's non-clinical and judgment free. When it comes to family court support and stuff, we're launching our family law support program pilot with the help of the Women's Center of Halton, which we're really grateful for. And really, what that does is the guys who don't have money to hire a lawyer, that we're going to provide court support workers for them so that all their paperwork is in order. And if then they choose to have a lawyer, then everything's already taken care of and the lawyer does what the lawyer does. So hopefully by the end of it, that just reduces all the costs involved. But also we're gonna include there's some therapy for the guys along the way, and the dedicated support groups that we're gonna do for these guys as well. So there's a ripple effect to that, where guys aren't feeling as isolated, not as angry, not as frustrated with the court, so that they're in a better place mentally. So as these things keep coming up, we continue to build programs of support around that. We're now over 350 men that are registered. on the women's side of Capillary, which we launched last year in June, I think there's about 170 now that are there. So, and that's just in Halton with, Halton and Hamilton, with the majority probably coming from Burlington and then some spillover into Oakville. And so if we're doing that just in our first year and a little bit now, like just imagine the need right across the province and then across the country. Um, and I'm now taking people more to task in terms of why are men only getting less than 1% of that mental health support pie when we represent 75% of all suicides. You know, of all the numbers I can throw at you guys and at the audience, is my favorite number is zero. Like, we've lost zero men to suicide that have come through Capillary. Not to say that it hasn't come close, but our support and our services, now we're building up a crisis kind of response team. Um, but at the end of the day, we really cover the guys that are before crisis, prevention. As a society, we're really good at putting money into post-crisis, but not pre-crisis. It's a lot cheaper if we put the money into prevention than it is post. So that's my goal. That's the mountain. Guys like James that are really behind us and pushing with support with all their events, and his wife Julie and Michael there to finish off the Levie team. Like, that's amazing.
Beth, don't forget Beth. You might
And
not have met
Beth,
Beth yet, but Beth is there too.
and we recently, I was going through a little bit of a low point because we were missing out on all these grants, and not even grants per se, but like Bell Let's Talk and organizations that you think be no-brainers. And we're not getting that funding, and we're like, so I was on a real down losing streak there, but then 100 Women Who Care, Burlington, I went and presented our charity to them, and they donated. It was just over $12,000. So it's kind of like community supporting community right now, and the need is absolutely there. So that's where we're at.
I just look at this. So it's such a staggering thing, first of all, to understand the numbers. I mean, you're right. For the 300 men that are there and 170 odd women that are there, there's multiples more than that, I'm sure, that are still in need, that maybe don't know you exist, maybe just are afraid to ask for help. Who knows what the answer is? But I think the more staggering thing that I am, probably more blown away by than anything else when I have these conversations with people like yourselves is the idea that you are doing this to help others in a world where we are finding ourselves further and further apart on different sides of the aisle, on different sides of arguments, and whatever else it is, whether it's religion or otherwise, lots of political reasons and lots of name calling and lots of just horseshit. I don't know, stupidity. And you guys and gals that are a part of this, and everyone that's a part of both of your organizations, are here to help. And I think about it and I'm like, and for what? I mean, it's not like, I'm sure the paycheck's nice in some cases. I don't know if you're even making money off of this, or if it's just, I know, James, you're not. I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is because you want to help and you see a need. And to me, like, how else can you are the superhero of the world right now.
Yeah.
You are our modern day superheroes right now, which it's hard to explain and try to put that into words. So thank you, both of you, like, for doing what you do and standing out in the community and standing up for what's right, quite frankly, and what is necessary. So, and especially through the hard times that you're going through, James. I mean, hell.
Thanks. I mean, honestly, I personally, with like you just mentioned some hard times. Yeah, well, there's been a few along the road. We've been dealing with a lot of stuff with, top of just all of it. And that affects me as well. It's like, this isn't, like Nelson's mentioned, it's not just a, you're going through a divorce, or you're fighting for this, or there's all kinds of things that can cause anxiety and stress. And, you can start, all of a sudden I'm getting heart palpitations that never used to be a thing, all of these things. Well, I think the effect is cyclical here. Like, sure, I might be helping, and, we might be collectively helping raise money for Nelson's group at Capillary, but I also am a member. I go there, and I don't go every week, but I go when I can try to help, or when I've got the available time, or when I can even just be there because I'm struggling with something and I need to talk about it. When I met Nelson, well, not when I met Nelson, but when I talked to Nelson about Capillary, he phrased it as it's kind of like the locker room, but without the sports attached. So you can go in and everybody's just chatting. No one's there to be your therapist. Maybe they've been through what you went through in the past, or what you're going through now, or whatever, and they can just say, "Hey, this is what worked for me," and you think, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll give that a shot." And that just helps you kind of process and also feel like I'm not alone in being stressed about this, or dealing with that, or whatever it is that's bothering you. Being in a room full of guys that kind of get it and have been to various states of that as well is super helpful. So yeah, we may raise money for them, but he's helping me in the background, and I'm using the service as well as supporting the service. So it's when you see where it's going, it's real easy to make that decision.
Nelson, do you often have people come down just to take a look and walk around, and like how does that play out when people are interested? Like just to dip your toe in, it might be overwhelming to show up at a whole meeting with a bunch of guys. Like how do we go about doing this?
Yeah, so like we're not set up for like a walk-in center just yet. Like that is my vision, absolutely, for sure. So we don't have that, although we have had walk-ins. But the way we try to make it as comfortable as possible, because it is absolutely very awkward for a guy to go into a space with complete strangers and you're about to share very intimate details about your life. So what we do is when we have a new guy come in, and we always have new guys come in, we start off the circle with the guys that have been there before. They take a minute to say, "Hey, this is what brought me to the table." And as we go around the table, and then it gets to the new guys, and by that time they feel a little bit, their guard is down because all these guys just opened up. So then they're given the opportunity to share as much as they want, as little as they want. And then we start our next lap. And you know what? I wish one day I'm going to record them, obviously with permission. Maybe we change our names for that particular day and stuff, just so other guys can hear what it's like in these support groups, because we laugh a lot, right? And even though each story every story is different, there's always common threads, always common threads. We've lived, the guys that are in their 50s or 40s or 60s, like we've lived a lifetime of mental health challenges. And though we might have experienced something in our 20s or 30s that we've conquered them now, but we can still provide that support to the guys that are starting to go through that. So in creating those safe spaces and judgment free, it just allows everyone else to open up.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's a good starting place for anybody. Just know that there's help out there, I guess, is the message here. And this is a place to start.
Yeah.
And
Justin,
money shouldn't be a barrier to your mental health support, really, at the end of the day, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I would love for people to understand what mental health is in terms of, and the way I like to phrase it now is it's whole being health. So if you think of yourself as a race car, mental health is the engine, right? But then you got the four tires, and those are so your first tire is physical health. Then you've got your emotional health, your spiritual health, and that's whatever it looks like to you. It doesn't have to be religion. It's just something that gives you life purpose. And then you have your social health, right? And if any one of those tires is flat, that's going to affect the engine. That's going to affect your mental health, right? Yeah. So it could be a physical ailment. It could be this, what James was saying with the heart palpitations and stuff. There's physical challenges involved, and then there's emotional, right? Like I I've got childhood friends that are going through things right now, and they know I'm in this space. And just today, like one of them said, "Hey, can you hook me up with someone who can help?" And I was in tears. I was so happy, like, yes, like what took you so long, man? Like, and then the other one is still a work in progress, but that's just the stigma. That's just the power that these stigmas have over the men specifically, right? But you know what? Like we're slaying the stigmas one at a time and just making it as easy to talk about the game last night as it is to talk about feelings.
I'm going to say something controversial, but I think Nelson gives good hugs. Does anybody agree with me in this? I feel like he does. He looks like a guy that can give you a good hug and just make things go away.
I'll
I
give
don't
it a
want to
try
say
next
it's like,
time, Nelson. Next time I see you.
yeah, I don't
We're
want
gonna
to say
test
it's
that
like the
theory
Green
out,
Mile,
okay?
but it's, you ever watch the Green Mile? It could be one of those. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So back to golf, because we want to just promote this event. Do we have any spots left? Let's start.
Yeah, there's a few left. We're getting pretty close to being sold out, which is fantastic. We're getting pretty close to the date as well. It's on Tuesday, May 12th.
Yes.
It's after work, so you don't have to take the day off work to golf. If that helps, comes with dinner. You leave, at the very least, you leave full. You leave like you learned a little bit something about your golf game, and you leave with a sleeve of balls and, some sweets and a little drink maybe if you want one, and and some demonstrations from some awesome organizations that are there.
That's amazing.
It's a lot of fun, and who doesn't like to play golf? It's a nice escape on a Tuesday.
It's worth it to see someone like Far Samji hit a golf ball, quite frankly, because the way she hits golf balls is friggin' phenomenal.
And I'm sure she has, the proper long driver, like for her, like whatever's legal in her field. I don't know, but she can take anybody's driver and crush the golf ball. Like, it's pretty impressive to watch. So, to take some tips and notes from that, it's super helpful.
Yeah, it's great. No, so okay, we're gonna put all the links for the event down below.
Awesome.
Anybody that wants to sign up for this event or pop in and golf or bring some people, whatever you need to do, let's get the last few spots filled down below. Let's get our community up there and out there helping support Capillary Wave and Nelson. This is an incredible time, and I'm gonna be there. So I want to see you guys in your golf swings out there, because I don't know, maybe there'll be a prize for the longest drive or something.
Hope I don't have to prove that extra 20 yards.
Yeah, there you go. So guys, you're awesome. I really appreciate you. We're running up on the 30 minutes, and we will see you on the 12th of May.
Awesome.
At the golf at Faraway Greens. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having me out.
Take care, guys.
Have a good day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye. Okay.